Hello, hello. Okay, guys, I have my act together. I swear I do. Some days.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you? How are you?
Good. Feeling a little better. I sent you a chat. I
And
had surgery last
uh
week, so I'm still like a little off.
oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
Did you get the video from last week from the
Um,
group? And
from the
you
group,
should
they
have got
said they didn't receive the Thursday one, and then um, the one from Thursday they didn't receive. They said that there was a glitch from what I read on the
the
system, and they said they sent
Sunday
an old
one.
one.
The Sunday one was a glitch. The Thursday one, this Thursday should have been
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, they said they didn't get it.
This Thursday or last Thursday?
This past Sunday,
There was a glitch. And they should have
okay.
sent you another one on that where I taught the same thing.
I think was that the one on ethics?
Yes,
Yes, I saw that one, but the one from Thursday's class,
this Thursday though.
this past Thursday,
Yeah, it
right?
probably won't go out till Monday, but I'll remind them.
Oh, well, they said you taught an A class, so they were really happy.
I did. I'm sorry.
They said you taught a really great A class. A class.
I
It was
did. I
awesome.
did. I did. I just taught. I just taught what I love to do. So I'm trying to stay on the agenda and make sure we're all in the same place. So I'm a little ADHD. I not find you hard to believe, but I do really well with directions and agendas. Do you want to ask me any questions?
I guess as far as policy, from what I was listening to, um, it doesn't matter what information they're asking for. You're there to protect yourself and the client's information unless it's court ordered. So if it says
Uh,
subpoena, that's more just
So when
the
you read the
lawyer.
question, the
Hmm.
assumption is unless it says something different, it's a subpoena from your it's unless it says anything different, it's from the law, it's from the court. We always assume it's from the court. Always, always.
Well,
A subpoena is for me to speak. A court order is for my records. Okay. Either way, I'm going to show up and I'm going to claim confidentiality. I'm going to claim privilege. My client told me this without having any reason to think I would ever share that. Now, I know that TDC, their question says, and I've not seen this on the test, so tell me if you have. TDC says if you get a subpoena, the first thing you do is hold on, let me go back that with that. That I claim privilege to the attorney. The attorney's nobody. I don't claim privilege to the attorney. I could care less what he thinks. The
mhm.
attorney's the same professional that I am. The only one I have to claim privilege with is going to be my attorney, sorry, the judge.
Right.
So I can subpoena you. Do you know that? As a
Hmm.
clinical social worker, I can go to the courthouse and I can subpoena you. I know because I we had property. I can garnish your wages if the judge issues a garnishment and they don't do anything about it. I order a court server, a court processor, and I have them send it to your house. And then what you know what happened then? I sent it to he was a restaurant manager. I sent it to his house and I sent it to the restaurant that he managed. He ignored both. I sent it
Mm.
to corporate office and told them that he got it and he ignored both. And they garnished his check immediately.
Mm, good.
It's, that is not illegal. That's not anything. So we don't have to be like for the test. I mean, this is out of my scope of reality. But in the real world, the only person I answer to is a judge. He can put me in jail.
So if we receive a subpoena from the attorney and then we contact
I'm going to
the,
check with my client and I'm going
yeah,
to respond because that's professional courtesy. I'm going to say,
mm-hmm,
no, thanks for not coming.
okay.
That's it. That's it. And I know that TDC says you have to go back to, and if I'm on the test and that's the best of the four, then I will. But that is not. true. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything. We respond because we're being nice.
Mhm.
If I order a subpoena from the attorney, what's he gonna do?
What if, because I work in a school district, what if the school district attorney is the same concept? Request the information.
So if it's a school district, okay. So I've not seen that question, because if you work for the school
Okay.
system, the school district attorney is on your side. He is supporting you. So in when I work for the school system, and I would get a subpoena from a family, I'd get a subpoena, even when I got something from the court, we always took the school board attorney with us. Okay. At the college level, I had, and I don't know what people think I'm going to say. I'll get called sometimes as a character witness for one of my students. I'm not going to lie. If he was a sucky student, I'm going to tell the judge, you should check with me before you send me a little damn subpoena, because you might not like what I say. So, but yes, I've been there too. And I work for the state of Georgia, and they also will send an attorney. And I don't know, through the, I don't carry malpractice license insurance anymore, because I don't treat. But doesn't malpractice, in our malpractice insurance, cover some bit of an attorney? I don't remember.
I
Supposed to,
believe so, but I'm not sure.
because we can call and ask for advice, right? Or
Yeah.
ask
So that's, yeah.
questions.
Yep. I own a business, so I have business insurance, and I have a business attorney, but I don't have malpractice, because I don't treat. And, yeah, and when I do treat, you have to sign something, because that's not what I do anymore. I think one of the most important things to remember is, if a client sues me or I sue them, then we don't have to get their permission to use their file against them.
And we lawyer up.
We're not going to lawyer up, actually. What's going to happen is you'll see a question that says you get a call from the board that a client is trying to say complaints against you from the board. Okay. Remember, I don't answer to the person. I only answer to the board. And then I can lawyer up. But if they're just trying to sanction me, yes, I'm going to take an attorney to that. If it's court, I'm definitely lawyering up. And if you've not ever been to court and you think you know what you're doing, until you've been chewed up and spit out by the prosecutor, you just don't know, or the defense attorney. When you got daddy that's got enough money to hire high fancy lawyers, and you wrote that, maybe he's not the best parent. Everything you see on TV happens. Chew you up and spit you out. On this day, did you say this? And always assume that your notes will be read by someone else. Always assume that. Okay, I'm doing DSM tonight. Before I start there, any questions?
I have a question about, for instance, in cases of domestic violence,
Okay.
and what will be the difference if, like, kids witness that domestic violence, and if the kids don't witness, or if the kids were hurt during domestic violence?
Okay. So
like to see the different scenarios, to know when do I report, when I don't.
So if kids cannot hear or see domestic violence. Okay. So if whenever the kids go to school, daddy beats up mama's butt and mama comes home and says, I fell, I can't report that. If kids hear or see, then that's damaging to the children. That I report. Okay. If kids hear or see pornography, or mom and daddy doing the nasty, I report that as well. Okay. So, but if kids are not aware of it, and I find it hard because they're not aware of it, but if that's the case, then I cannot report that as child abuse. I think there's a question that talks about a mother who says she wants to go back home. And the question goes out of its way to say she has children. So my answer needs to make sure, what do I do with the children? And in most questions, like most other questions, it's an assess question. You're going to say, so tell me more, or what do you think? I'm trying to gather more information before I automatically make a phone call.
Okay.
Can I report anything about the mama?
Well, if the
Except-
if the mother did something to the kids, absolutely.
Got it.
Even if they say, for instance, because some people debate on this, like, well, if the mother said that, well, got out of control and spank or the child or things like that, that we do not report.
So we would report if there's marks more than 24 hours, we would report.
I think I remember hearing you report abuse, not so much neglect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Elderly neglect, I'm going to report always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But elderly adults have the right to have a say so. So if grandma's living, she's got no, this is what usually you'll see, that a family member calls in and says, 1 second. A family member calls in and says, you know, my oldest brother is taking all Granny's money and spending it on drugs, and Granny ain't got no food. If I go to Granny and she's fine with that, there's nothing I can do. If Granny's health is at risk, that is a lack of self-care.
Okay.
What if the grandmother's not competent and they're abusing her financially?
So that's competency is again, I can report that to the state, but competency is determined by somebody else, not me.
Got
So, so I'm going to report it, and that may appear, but I don't get to make that decision. I only have to report what I think, right? What I have to just have an idea. My job is not to investigate. One of the tricky ones is talking about if I have two 13-year-olds, right, and they're having sex. So is that a child abuse report, or is that a police report?
So the case is, oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. They're both your clients, or you just were given a
No.
report?
I was just given, one of my 13-year-old girl said, I'm having sex with my 13-year-old boyfriend.
Well, it sounds like it's consensual.
Okay.
Normally it's not consensual under the age. It's considered illegal, I think, under the age of 16 though. So that's usually a police report.
So who decides that?
But if the two are the same age, and it seems that, I mean, there's no more information to grab to say there's sexual abuse going on.
So it becomes a legal issue, not a code of ethics issue. You would make a police report. Okay. Most often when I see a question like that, it's going to say, follow your state and local guidelines. Okay. Because some states, it says no more than 2 years apart. Some states say it is, if they're over 16 or whatever the rule is. So it really, really depends. 12 and under is always a minor, always. Okay. Other than that, it really depends on the state. Some states have a 2-year law, right? If he's 2 years older.
Mhm.
If he is 19 and she is 13, I'm going to report it. He's an adult. She is not. You can't have consensual sex in any state at 13.
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, if
That's
it's
still statutory
13,
rape. Okay. So 14 in most states, Okay. But that's so we don't do laws, we do ethics, right? So, but that one would definitely be a police report. And most often in the real world, and police are getting better, the child's parents don't want to, that they don't want to press charges. The 13-year-old's parents are okay with the 19-year-old, especially in the community I worked in, because the 19-year-old was giving the mama drugs and money and whatever, and they did not want to press charges. And if you don't have a willing witness, there's not a lot. It's just not a good case. So the attorney won't, the prosecutor won't take it because they don't think they can win. But we still call.
okay, so if they're, even though they're like no sexual abuse, but because they are minors, 13, even if both of them are the same age, it's not an ethical issue, it's more a legal issue, and I have to report it to the police. Oh, thank you very much. That's
So
great.
let's look at this one. Remember, it's a reading test. When I see something that's unusual in the question, right? Something that they threw in there, those are ones that I've got to go back and think, is do I automatically call child abuse? So I got to give it some thought on those. I'll share my screen here. You see that one?
Can you make it a little bit bigger?
I can.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I know is a 14-year-old reports sexual contract with her 17-year-old boyfriend. She says it's mutual and she doesn't want anyone to get in trouble. Okay, so I'm understanding, right? It's a first question. So if safety is first, then safety trumps everything. If not, I want to gather more information. So now, A, protect, provide education about the healthy relationship. B, report suspected statutory rape to Child Protective Services. C, schedule joint counseling for the couple. Or D, ask the parent to supervise dating rules.
Okay, so she's not a minor. I mean, lawfully, right? It's not a minor.
Well, keep rich. She shouldn't be. She wouldn't be in my state.
Okay, so then
Okay.
it's a minor.
So let's read off our options.
It got my attention that they're putting between quotation marks, does not want anyone to get in trouble.
Okay.
So, provide education about healthy relationships, maybe later.
Okay.
Report suspect statutory rape to Child Protective Services, probably.
Okay.
Schedule joint counseling for the couple, no. Ask parents to supervise dating rules. I think I'm gonna do that report in this
Okay.
case.
So I've taken out, I'm always going to rule out, right? I'm not going to ask him to support
Yeah.
the dating, right?
No.
I am not going to, we're not doing joint counseling.
Mm-mm.
So remember, I'm looking at the best of the four.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Yeah,
So of this question, 4 is of the best. Okay, so
Yeah.
but if there are other options, that may not be the best answer of the 4.
I have to take the best of the uh no best questions, huh?
So
I have a
always,
question, Dr. Pam. For the LMSW, are they giving only 4 options as responses, or
no, it was supposed to be by 2025 only 3, but I hear it's still mostly 3 and 4 on
Oh,
on all the
okay.
tests. Anybody want to share that?
Well, I'm not sure. I know Anne had mentioned she took the test over the summer and there was only 3 questions, 3 answers as an option.
Not to all of them. It was supposed to go by December 2025, all 3 questions, but I have not, there's about half and half maybe.
Okay.
So, Irma, when did you take it last?
That was last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna take it this year.
So what
I
did
don't
you
have the
find? Mostly 3, mostly 4.
there were 4.
Mostly 3, no 3, no, mostly 4.
I don't recall that's
There's
no,
usually a
I don't.
combination, according to most of my students, there's a combination of both. So,
But mostly what I saw mostly is the 4 choices.
okay.
I might have seen 3, but mostly 4.
Good, good, good. I don't know why somebody thought those 3 chances, the ASWB didn't think that, but I'm not sure why anybody ever thought 3 answers would be easier. That makes it so much harder.
It's tougher. Yeah, like for instance, on this question, because I have four options, I can rule those 2. And if I had another one and I was not sure about the 2 that I rule out, I will fail the test. I mean the question in a specific, but in this case, I have 2 more options, so yeah.
Okay, well, I usually do a combination of both. So just to make sure you're prepared. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a couple more and then we're going to get to my DSM.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, here's one. Okay. Irma, with that one.
A 6-year-old often arrives at school dirty, hungry, and tired. The parents say she's doing her best but works nights. What should the social worker do first? A, gather more data about the home situation. B, immediately report the Child Protective Service. 3, provide hygiene supplies to the family. So a child arrives to school dirty, hungry, and tired. The parent says she's doing her best but works nights. What should the social worker do first? I'm going to eliminate C, provide hygiene supplies to the family. I'll do that, but later on. It almost seems like I would be eliminating. I'm still, figuring that one out. I would probably eliminate A, but it's saying that she works nights, so that's why. But it seems like we need more information. Is that, the information correct that the parent's giving or not?
Oh, you're going in with an attitude that there must be something wrong with that family. No, 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 no.
Okay.
We're going in with unconditional positive regard. We don't know. We want to help.
So I would be,
Assessing is gathering more information.
okay. So I would eliminate B and go with A.
Got it, got it. When a couple of crises in my life, when my son was 19, he was diagnosed with cancer. 19, my life stopped. He'd gone for the summer, and over the summer he called me a couple of times, said he couldn't breathe. He went to the emergency room out there, and he was traveling. And when he came back to go back to school, I said, hey, and he was fine then. I said, let's go ahead and go to the allergist before you go back to school. Do you know when you go to the allergist and you get a call within 15 minutes? Right? Okay. Okay. So, and by the way, at the time, my husband was sick and he wasn't working. So me not working wasn't an option. I was the only income and my baby is sick. And I am trying so hard to hold my crap together. And my daughter's daycare, she went to a private daycare, my little one. And at this point, she was having Lunchables. And she called me in and she said, you cannot serve her Lunchables every day. That is not healthy. She needs a proper lunch. And I just lost it. And she could have called in and just said, hey, this daughter doesn't have any fruits and vegetables. I just lost it. And she didn't ask me if anything was wrong. And we'd been there for a while. She was not a new kid there. She was probably 5. But I will never forget that. So when we see something like this, we just want to see what's going on. What's going on? She's the only parent there, and she's doing her best, and especially with no food stamps and people getting laid off from work. We just want to see what's going on, and we want to help.
Right. I would do the A, then the C, and then if it continues, and then it would
I
be
would do the
D.
A and just depend on what happens from there. Right. Let's go from there. If she's leaving him home at night, that's not okay either. I had a call once of a school social worker and had a woman that it was a very prestigious school zone and everybody wanted to go to that school zone. The mother worked the night shift at the convenience store by the school. So she used that as the address to get her kids in school. And somebody noticed that her kids got from school, walked down to the gas station and spent the night in the car. Okay. I just wanted to help her. I know it's a great school, but your kids can't live in the car. They can't live in the car. So, we made arrangements of where she needed to be. I didn't have to call DFACS. Okay. And if she didn't if she didn't listen to me, then I would have. Okay. But when it comes to neglect, unless it says something like they refuse to do what I say, or they're still doing, I told them to stop and they keep doing it. Our goal is to wear our big social worker hat and be a resource. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to my questions here. Let's get a couple more in before I go to DSM. Oh. I have so many windows open.
And it's true, because I've had that one question happen at my job, and I never call DCP&P. We advise the parent that we would if it continues.
Mhm.
And even though it continued maybe a couple times, she would come, her hair not done, her clothes dirty.
Mhm.
But we also had the uncle, the little uncle, so he would come disheveled as well. So it was like 8 family members living in probably a 1-2 bedroom. And it seemed like every month a family member from Jamaica was coming in. They just weren't caring for either one of the kids. And they were very limited, education wise, to the kids. So we mentioned the sneakers, the clothes, and then the school, a few of us gathered some money and gave them clothes too.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but yeah, gathering more information and talking to the family is key.
Got it. And especially cultural differences, right? That's really especially. Okay.
Right, because she's in first grade, a repeat. She repeated first grade again. In Jamaica, she could walk the streets and it was not a big deal. But for us, culturally, it's like, oh my God, she's walking like 2 blocks from the house. For the morning care program, she could be taken, and that kind of thing. But culturally, they say it's okay, but we were concerned.
So in America, you have to follow the rules in America. The European, our Asian people are very Asian. The helicopter mom. We see that with our Asian families. My European, my especially upper northern Europe. No, kids can walk 5 miles by themselves. No, it's fine. I don't know. At like 5. No, it's not a problem. That's an American thing. What do you mean you can't get up and get dressed by yourself at 6? So that's so much of a cultural thing. My daughter-in-law is Swiss, and I remember, we were traveling, and at the bus, and you have to take the train to get into like the cities to take the bus. And I see these little kids, like, oh my God, I'd never leave them out by themselves. And it's cold. It's Switzerland. They also don't have the number of mass shootings that we have. And Switzerland has more guns than any other country, but it's just a different way of living. Okay, next one.
You want to take turns, Irma?
Please.
Yeah. An elderly woman with dementia is found wandering outside alone and disoriented. So this vignette is about an elderly woman, and she has dementia, and she's lost. She's outside wandering, and she's disoriented. She doesn't know where she is. So, oh, no question, huh? Okay. A, report to APS for protective evaluation. B, notify her family. C, schedule a safety planning session. This is tough, less information. An elderly woman with dementia is found wandering outside alone and disoriented. Well, since it's a safety issue, oh, but I don't have a call to police. I'm gonna rule out C. Um, I'm going to, I think if it's a first thing, I will like notify
I'm
her
sorry.
family.
I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead. So you said you said you wouldn't schedule a safety planning meeting first. And I said, why? Keep going. What was your answer? What did you pick?
I was going to pick notify her family, and then I will do the schedule a safety planning session. And then if you know
Which
this
sounds
continue.
great and all, but do I know that she has family?
No.
Can I prove that in the question?
So I have to report them to APS.
I do.
Yeah, and because I was like, okay, there's no police. I mean, I can report to police, but that was not the answer.
If that was an option, I would too, right? That would be fine, right? But at this point, she's outside and she's alone. And how am I going to find her family? She
Yeah.
probably doesn't know who she's at. She's got dementia.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So most definitely. And remember, dementia doesn't have to be, it could be on the milder side, and maybe at some point she would recognize. But at this point, I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So the APS will be the one that have to follow up and contact family, call police, whatever they have to do. Okay, that was a good question.
And that's what makes them hard, right? Because I have to go. So the fact that she has dementia is what was the key in the question. If it just said she was an elderly woman, right? Then I just talk to her and say, hey, what's going on here? But I don't know that.
Yeah, no way to assess her.
That bigger. And that's so when we're taking test questions, we have to take every test question just as it is. This is just what that test question says.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back. Bigger. Okay.
Okay, a parent tells the social worker she leaves her 8-year-old home while running errands for an hour or two. A, report inadequate supervision. B, provide safety education. C, offer parenting classes. So it sounds like the parent gets services from the social worker. And she's confiding in her that she leaves her 8-year-old child home alone for a couple hours while running errands. I'm going to eliminate offer parenting class. First, I'm going to eliminate report inadequate supervision. I'm going to eliminate that one first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to eliminate offer parenting classes. And my answer will be provide safety education.
So according to the test, is an 8-year-old okay to stay home by himself?
It depends on the maturity level. They say 12, right?
It does not. 12 is the rule. 12 is the rule.
Got it.
12 is the rule.
Okay.
12 and under is a minor.
Okay, so the answer is A then. Okay. At that point, would you tell the parent I have to report it?
They're not there. You've dropped at the house. Okay, I don't know. Maybe they are there. Yes, I would tell the parent. I would, especially if I have a relationship with them. I would. Okay. I have to tell you an incident where the rules don't apply. My oldest now, he was in middle school. He went to a magnet middle school, so he was off times when we weren't. My husband worked about 10 minutes away from him, and he was in middle school. So he was what middle school? 10, 11, 12. He was in middle school. We lived in South Florida in a very bougie gated community. My son was playing with the phone, house phone back in the time. He called 911. 911 showed up, and it happened to be shortly after Halloween. All in his room was red blood paint because he had gone as a vampire that year, and it looked like blood everywhere. I get the call from my son. The police just left, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what happened, baby? He's so upset. I'm like, did they call? They didn't do anything. Anything. What is wrong with them? They should have called me. He was more upset than anything else. And I think the assumption is because we lived in a good neighborhood, and he really had a reason to be home from school. But I can tell you, if those police knocked on a lower socioeconomic house and there was blood, paint everywhere, there would have been some action. I would have never known if he hadn't called me. And they didn't even say, call your mom. He called me. So the rules were different some places. Okay. And yes, he never stayed home alone again until he was like 14. Because he was so upset.
I bet, poor thing.
Okay, 12 and under, you report.
Got it.
It makes sense because of their developmental stage.
12 and under is that minor. And that's in every stage. Now, the age of consensual sex changes, but in every state, a minor is under 12. Okay.
A hospital social worker sees a parent refusing antibiotics for their child's infection because they don't believe in medicine. So this is a case where a parent refuses for their child to receive it says medication, sorry, for infection, because he doesn't believe, or the parent doesn't believe in medication. So what should I do? Next or first, kind of? A, report medical neglect. B, educate about infections. C, respect cultural differences. I'm gonna rule out C because in this case it's about the child's well-being. And first I'm gonna educate the parent, but if nothing happens, that I mean, how do you say, if he
it's life-threatening, then I call CPS.
Yeah.
The question doesn't prove that to me yet. Okay. If it said the doctors believe the child will die or the child is near death, then I report. Okay. But in this one, it just says they don't believe in medicine. Okay. That's really up. And even that one's not the best choice, but that's the best of the four because the doctor should educate them about infections, not me.
Yeah, not us, but since I'm at the hospital social worker.
Absolutely. I probably do
setting,
know. I probably do know in this question. I probably do know, right? But that's the best of these three.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm thinking also about the setting.
Absolutely.
During a home visit, a worker observes a toddler with multiple bruises of different colors. So there was a home visit from the social worker, and the social worker observed the toddler with multiple bruises of different colors. So meaning they weren't all new, and some of them could have been old.
Or you've been watching some CSI, something.
Ask the parent for an explanation, report physical abuse immediately, wait for medical verification. So I'm going to rule out wait for medical verification.
Okay.
Because you're in the moment. I'm going to rule out, goodnesses. B, and I'm gonna ask for more information.
I am not.
You're
In
not.
this one, I'm going to
Darn.
report. It's a
Really?
toddler. It's a toddler. And the toddler may fall down every 5 minutes. They really might. But my job is not to assess.
Mm,
Okay. So to have a toddler with that many bruises is a concern.
hmm. Okay, I'm messing these up here. Okay, so
Okay,
report.
let's look at the other choices.
Ask the parent for an explanation. Oh, I noticed there's bruises on your, let's say, your daughter.
If that were the case, that would be fine. But when they put in they're of different colors, that's the flag there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
If the kid has a scrape on his knee, hey, what happened? No big deal. But if they have several scrapes or multiple bruises, that means that maybe the kid falls all the time. I don't know, but I don't get to decide that in this question.
Got it.
So what I want you to learn to look for is things that make this different. And you picked it up. You got multiple cruises of different color. And you totally said that. That means that there's different stages of bruising. So in this one, I'm going to report. I know it's a reading test. I know there's sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It just depends on what that specific question asks. How do you feel about that, Irma?
Pardon me?
How do you feel
Yes,
about that? Does that make sense?
I do agree because I mean, if we see bruises, even on the elderly or women or domestic violence, and then we see and then babies or like this toddler, if we see the bruises at different stages of healing, that that is giving me a big red flag that physical abuse is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what makes the test so hard, because you saw a question similar to this and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the answer. But one word can change it. Okay.
An adult client tearfully describes being beaten by her father throughout childhood, but says, I just need to talk about it. She still visits the home where young nieces live. Okay, in this case, it's about this daughter that she's talking that her father used to, beat her up through her childhood. And also she's reporting that they are her nieces, even though, I mean, she doesn't say the age. Oh, yeah, young nieces. So they're minors. So what should I do next? Or what is the next thing to do? Or what, kind of like I'm thinking the question on my head. So A, file a report to Child Protective Services. B, continue processing trauma and monitor safety concerns. C, report only if the client confirms minors are currently being harmed. This is a good question. Oh my God. I think I'm gonna rule out B.
What do I need to know about this question?
What I need to know if basically if those kids are currently being harmed.
Okay.
So that will be my answer.
Okay. If it were sexual abuse, would that change your answer?
Definitely.
Why?
Oh, oh yeah, because if she was sexually abused, by whoever when she was a minor. And then if minors are living in the home and the client is reporting that, that's an automatic CPS report.
Because there's no cure for pedophiles.
No, they don't
If
change.
they molested you, they're going to molest us. So if I'm an adult, let me give you another one. Okay. So if there are other children around, that's the issue. So let me give you one more on that one to make sure we get that.
That one almost seemed like could have been B also. I kind of would have thought it could have been B, because you're meeting the client where they're at and continue processing their trauma because she was tearful at the moment, and then monitor safety concerns, meaning
whose safety concerns?
She's an adult.
Yeah, no, I know that. But if the client comes back with information that these children are being abused, that's where I kind of.
That still wouldn't come before C. I need to know C. This second part would be if she's got her concerns, but she doesn't live there anymore. So remember, safety still trumps feelings.
Okay.
So she does want to process it, but safety still trumps feelings. And you were right, because there's feelings in the question. I'm only looking for feelings in the answers, but safety trumps feelings. And these children may be in danger. If it was sexual abuse, we wouldn't even finish the phone call, right? We're going to finish right there, because pedophiles always repeat.
Yeah.
Now try
they
this
take
one.
Every single second chances.
Okay. A 30-year-old client in therapy discloses sexual abuse by her uncle during early childhood. The social worker learns the uncle now lives overseas with no U.S. contact with minors. So this is a 30-year-old that was sexually abused by her uncle as a child, and the client states that the uncle lives, overseas with no minors around them. A, provide trauma focused counseling and document thoroughly. File a report to CPS, and C, notify law enforcement. Okay. So it's a 30-year-old child, an adult, I should say, that discussed with her therapist traumas when she was a child.
Is anyone in danger?
No.
Okay, that's your question then.
So I would eliminate B, file a report with CPS, and C, notify law enforcement. Eliminate that, and the answer would be provide.
Can I call the police?
You can.
I cannot. She's a grown adult. I cannot report that. I can sit with her if she wants to report it, but she's an adult.
So the answer would be A, provide trauma-focused counseling and document thoroughly.
Do you see how this is different than the last one?
Right.
Because the last one, there could have been kids still in danger. So safety trumped her feelings. In this one, no one's in imminent danger.
Right. So if we were to switch it around and the uncle lives in the US and there's minors in the house, then it would be file a report or notify.
File report.
Got it.
One of the things that I think we forget as social workers, there is a reason why we don't want to keep questioning the kid. So what we want is for the kid to say something to the teacher. And I don't need to interview the kid too. If this teacher heard, the teacher needs to make the report. I don't need to interview the question for more report, because kids are horrible witnesses. And if this goes to court, and hopefully it does, and now we're trying to get this kid on the stand, and there are 5 different witness statements, He told the gym teacher it happened on the bedroom floor on Tuesday, and he told me that it happened on the stairs on Wednesday. And all those may be true, but a good attorney is going to say all those different things, and the kid just probably doesn't really remember. So
Don't
we're
they also
trying
say
to
it's because you don't
build
want to re-traumatize the kid?
that's not re-traumatization. That's not, it's really not. It's really not. They're telling somebody that's not re-traumatization. Re-traumatization is when I'm a rape victim and I go to the emergency room that is not trauma-informed care, and the policeman doesn't believe me, or they treat me like I'm a piece of crap. They think, I was, I was on a date and this happened. Girl, you should have known better, right? What's wrong with you? That's re-traumatization. So trauma-informed care says that every office, every clinical office, everybody should assume that people come in with some trauma. So what our sexual assault treatment centers specifically, right, that you don't wear the doctor's whites. You make it feel as home as possible. You ask the client where they want to sit. You ask them, I'm going to do this right now. Is that okay with you? Because we're trying to really give them some power where they don't have power. Okay. I've done some training with a big dentist chain. I spent a lot of time teaching them trauma-informed care, because think about it, when you have either adult or a child that's come in and they've got really bad teeth, that's a signature of years of neglect. And if I've been, whether it's I've been using drugs, whether mom and daddy didn't afford to take me to the dentist, whatever, I've gone through some stuff if I hadn't been to the dentist in 10 years. So for the staff to not make those assumptions, to not say things, is so important. So I have put off dental services for a long time. I was raising 3 children. I had a sick husband. Our insurance benefits were tapped out. And when I did go to the dentist, and most of them were really nice, but a woman said to me, she goes, "You got about $30,000 worth of work in your mouth. Think you can afford it?" Oh my God. No, she did not
Very
say that to me.
insensitive. Very insensitive.
And the chain that they work for, it's a big chain. I've done some training with them. If someone comes in and it's not just a dental cleaning, someone who's missing teeth, someone who has no teeth, someone who's obviously, and maybe even some fear of going to the dentist,
Trauma.
you don't treat them that way. We do trauma-informed care from the front desk to the dentist to everybody else. That is how we treat people. So I wish I could get more dentists to open up, because I'd love to make that my other side hustle. So really go out and teach dentist offices about trauma-informed care. And again, if so many people have these huge fears of that and just won't go to the dentist, and they go, it's so late. And especially imagine if I've been a meth user, and now I've got years of decay and I'm clean, and I just, so yeah, that's one of my bandwagons, one of many that I'm always on.
Yeah, we have that
There's
at our
something.
school. Thankfully, I don't know if it's gonna follow through in January, but we have like a grant for the students that don't have medical, for the dental and their vision. So when we see students that I've seen, with their teeth, looking like they haven't been to a dentist in years, I'll call the parents and say, "Hi, how are you? Just following up to see if you have medical insurance and when was the last dental visit?" Because we do have programs that provide a free dental and vision care. And they're always, most of the time, they're always, very excited to hear that.
They're embarrassed though. They're embarrassed. You've called me and you've told me I'm a bad parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we want to do. Okie dokie. So let's go to my DSM. In your sheet, I put a DSM cheat sheet. That is not be all and end all, but it's definitely a good one to not have to study the entire DSM.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. So as we're going to look at those today, let me just go over some of the ones. And again, I'm not telling you that these are the only ones you'll ever see. I'm just telling you these are the big ones. These are the ones that I know that you'll see.
Oh, thank you.
Where's my dog? Okay. Am I sharing major depressive disorder?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Less than 2 weeks. Again, the buzzwords, the clues that we're looking for. So remember, it's less than 2 weeks. Anhedonia means lack of pleasure. Hedonism is pure pleasure. Anhedonia, the bud words right there, lack of pleasure. Okay. And remember, it takes at least 2 weeks. Okay. But it can go on for up to 2 years. At 2 years, then it becomes persistent depressive disorder in adults, and it becomes in children, it's after 1 year. 1 second. So major depression disorder starts off as 2 weeks. And remember, an adjustment disorder would be 6 months. An adjustment disorder would say something happened. In the question, it would say Pam lost her job. Something happened. If nothing happened and I just 2 weeks, I can't get out of bed, I'm having suicidal thoughts, big red flags here. When it comes to a differential diagnosis, then I have to automatically go to borderline. I'm sorry, wow, my bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Remember, they both start off with that major depression. And what happens is my bipolar disorder.
Will you be able to share this, you said, this cheat sheet on the site? Okay.
I'm sorry. Amber, do you see it?
Yes.
Valerie, do you see where I said hello?
Yes, I see it.
You're right above it, and right click it and download it so you can look at it while we're teaching.
Yeah.
Okay. You good?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So again, major depressive disorder, 2 weeks. I'm looking for anhedonia, suicidal thoughts, but nothing happened to trigger it. When it comes to my differential diagnosis, what else could it be? Remember, many times bipolar 1 and 2 start off with major depression. And what happens then is after 2 weeks, I've been sad. My doctor's got me on antidepressant. We're doing CBT and meds because that's the treatment for a mood disorder. And suddenly my mood just lifts. It keeps going. They take me off the SSRIs. They take me off, and I still keep going higher and higher and higher. That happens if it happens after the 2 weeks and continues at least for 7 days or more. And then I go back down, that's bipolar 1. So bipolar 1 is going to usually end me up into jail or hospital because my behavior is so bizarre. One of my sister-in-law, at one point, she still has it, but she self-medicates. They've been married forever, and this woman very rarely says more than hello. These are conversations we've always had. Hi, how are you? How are you and the kids? It's great to see you. Is my brother there? That's the conversation. A couple of years ago, I called, and the first time I called, she was like, "I'm good, Pam. How are you doing? What's going on down there in Florida?" And she has more than words. I'm like, "Okay, that's." I call back about a week later and it's like, oh my gosh, Pam, oh, can I tell you how great life is? Your brother did this and we went fishing and we ate food, blah, 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 blah. That's pressured speech.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a full-blown manic episode.
Manic.
Hypersexuality, shopping with money I don't have, bizarre behavior. You will notice, you will get, yeah. I had a client one time whose mother had it, and she was in high school, very wealthy family, and her mother would pick her up from school. She was about 6, and she was about my age, and her mother would fly off to Paris to go shopping. They'd shop in Paris, and then her mother would crash. So when I crash back down to a major depression, she would have no idea where she was. No cell phones back then. Her dad didn't know where she was. And that's such a traumatic event. Eventually, mom lost custody because she refused meds. And when I'm in a manic episode, it feels great. I can clean my house. I can do all these things, and I don't need any sleep. And it's great. It's great. It's great. But I do some really bizarre things. Bipolar 1. Bipolar 2, you may not notice. Bipolar 2, again, starts off with that major depression. Okay. And then same thing. I'll be taking my meds. They'll take me off meds because now I'm getting up there. But it's not always noticeable. Okay. I will say to you, if you don't know the person, you might not notice. If you notice the person, if you know the person, you will notice. I've got a friend that has this, and every few months, she calls me at like 6 a.m. just to chat. I was up. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. What's going on in your life? I was thinking about taking a trip. It's not bizarre, crazy. It might be she brings in donuts to the office. It might be that, she buy like a new a coffee maker for the office and bring everybody in coffee and drinks and things that she normally can't afford. So that you might not notice that at all. So that's the hypo. Remember, hypo always means less. HYPO. Hypothyroidism means my thyroid is not working hard enough, right? It's less. Hyper, HYPER, think of hyperactivity with ADD. Hyper is more. Okay. Hypo less, hyper more. Now, if the behavior continues and I do not have any mood swings, after 2 years and an adult, it becomes persistent depressive disorder. It used to be called dysthymia. It was called dysthymia and cyclothymia because it made it easy to remember. But now it's called persistent depressive disorder. That is more downs than ups. I always feel down. Every day is hard. My cyclothymia is I have more ups than downs. It's not all the way up there to even to a bipolar 1. I'm sorry, a bipolar 2, but I still have more ups. I have these mood swings that I go up. Same thing, 2 years in adults, 1 year in children. Okay. GAD, free-floating anxiety, not tied to anything in particular, always worrying. I'm always feeling on the edge. 6 months. I always say when you're taking the test and you think you have test anxiety, that the testing people you realize that as an accommodation. You have always had anxiety, and when something big comes along, it increases the anxiety you already have. Okay, so I'm looking for chronic excessive worry, tension, restlessness, irritability. And then if like my test is coming up, then those symptoms get worse. I can't sleep the 2 days before the test. I can't stop worrying about the test. But it's not just this one thing. I've always had it. I'm just looking for something else to worry about. Okay. Panic attack and a panic disorder. So a panic attack is, if you've never had one, be very thankful. It is, you think you're dying. You really think you're dying. I haven't had one in a long time. Thank you, Lord. When I was going through a very, very bad time in my life, I would have them and sometimes just out of the blue, not even didn't think I was worried about anything, but my body said, yes, you are. It feels like a heart attack. It feels like a heart attack. Your heart is chasing. The people besides you can feel tachycardia. They can feel your heart beating. And even if it only lasts for like an hour, by the time that I've taken a medication, and usually a Xanax or two will calm it down, I'm ruined for the day and usually the next day. Because my body has really felt like it's gone through a heart attack, but there's nothing physically wrong. They've run all the tests, they've done EKGs and all these things, and it's not a physical issue. It really is a mental health issue that's a somatoform, right? Coming out as a body. The next day, my chest is sore from my heart beating. It's like my body got beat up. A panic attack is having one, but you are so terrified that you'll have another one. So then panic disorder is, I'm going to have one. And the question will say that Pam sleeps in the hospital parking lot for the next month because she's so afraid she'll have another one. So the attack is one. The disorder is I've had one, only one. And for 30 days, I'm sure I'm going to have another one. Okay. Sudden, unexpected panic attacks, plus worry about reoccurrence, and recurrent uncued attacks. Rule out substances. I definitely, thank God, they're much better. But I've been, and thank God for the watch too. So what'll happen the last time is my Apple Watch will alert me with your heart rate is off the chain. It'll beep, 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 beep. Something's going on. Something's going on. If I know that I'm going to have one, it's like anything else. If I know that if I start to feel very anxious that day, and I feel like one's coming on, I can usually stop it. I can usually, again, take a Xanax or something. And I'm already on an underlying SSRI, right? Because that's how we treat anxiety and depression. So I'm already on one, but I do have PRN Xanax. So if I can stop it before it happens, then that's the better choice. But sometimes it's just so out of the blue, like, oh my goodness, like what's going on here? Okay. So agoraphobia. So any of those phobias are irrational fears. Agoraphobia, most often I don't want to leave my house. Right? I am terrified. Many times they're paired together, that I'll have a panic attack once I leave my house. Okay. So agoraphobia is I'm afraid of open spaces. I'm afraid of I can't go to the grocery store, and it's usually tied into me having a panic attack. Remember, any of those phobias though you might see: acrophobia, fear of heights; arachnophobia, fear of spiders. We treat phobias with Jacob Wolpe's systematic desensitization. Right? So we do it either slowly or quickly. So if you're afraid of, and there are rational fears. Okay. So if I've got agoraphobia, and what we do is we're going to set up that action plan, right? Joseph Wolpe said we're going to teach the client to be, first of all, we're going to teach them to relax, teach them to be in their happy state. Let me show you what that looks like. This is systematic desensitization. So when I'm doing it slowly, the steps that it looks like is, again, I'm going to come up with the person. The only time I've really used this is I had a client that was afraid of flying, and his son was getting married in Paris, and he had to go, but he was terrified. I suggested have him doctor, give him a couple of Xanax and drink a lot, and have, get those, one of the medical carts, and just have them wheel you on the plane and wheel you off, because that would have been the easier way. That, right? So that's the easy way. Just drug up and be fine. Just do it.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay? It would have been easier.
You're like that.
So in vivo is what we see when you're exposed. In vitro means you're imagining. In vitro is going to be called implosion. That means it's not real. Okay. So then in vivo is live. We're going to sit up with the client. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to teach them relaxation techniques, how to relax. It doesn't really matter what you do, any grounding techniques. You can teach people, the deep breath, deep breathing. We can teach you muscle relaxation, whatever is your bag of tea and whatever works for the client. The goal is, the term is called reciprocal inhibition. You cannot be afraid and relax at the same time. Your body just won't let you. It just won't. So reciprocal inhibition says we're going to try to realize that we can't do both. So with the client, I'm going to come with a list of what they're most afraid of. This client was most afraid of getting on the plane. So we need a list of at least 10 to 12 steps of what we do to get there. So this one, it's, think about getting on the plane. Just think about it. Client gets anxious, I take them back to their happy place, right? I like, what's it called? Guided imagery. Feel the sand beneath your toes and feel the wind in your hair, and you feel the sun beating down on you, because that's my happy place. So I like guided imagery. So again, we're going to take each level slowly. Think about the photo of the plane. Literally, it went all the way up to driving to the parking lot, but not getting out. Packing your luggage, driving to the parking lot, and actually walking in the airport. So slowly, and every time we get through it, right, then we get anxious, and I take you back to your happy place. So that's Wolpe, and that's how he gets rid of phobias. While we stay here, remember the other options are flooding. Flooding is, like I said, just put him on the plane and just put him on the plane. He'll be fine. Give him a little alcohol, give him a little Xanax, he'll be fine. The example I use is my children. They all took swim lessons at the Y. Not me. The swim instructor would just push them in. They had already had a couple lessons. We weren't in the deep end. We're not trying to cause any life of trauma. So the goal of flooding is all at the same time. So if you look at my picture, you see that systematic desensitization is the small thing. So you've got 1, 2, 3. The spiders get bigger, bigger, and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But over here, there's a huge spider leg that is big of the room coming in the house. That's flooding. Just throw me in a vat of spiders. Okay.
What's that word you used again? It's called what?
This term?
Yeah,
this is flooding. This is flooding.
Oh, flooding.
All
Okay.
at the same time. Okay. And that's why I went back to talk about my kids, because you think about drowning. So that's really what it is. You just have all at the same time. Just push them in.
I know this has nothing to do with this, but is there one that's more effective than the other, or they're just as effective?
No, they're both just as effective. It depends on the client and time-wise, how much time they have. The other one I mentioned before was implosion. Implosion is now, it's very cool, because implosion now actually uses the VR glasses. So you feel like you're in the grocery store. You feel like you're actually getting on the plane, but you're not really. It's just imagining. So it's really cool. There is a site. Oh, I can't remember. I won't remember it. I'll have to look at it. There is a site, and this is my cup of tea, that really talks about the use in technology in counseling. And VR glasses is definitely one of them, virtual reality. I visited a juvenile justice center, and this is probably like 10 years ago. It was so very cool. They had the program they used put on was the again virtual reality, and the kids, there would be like a bicycle like lying in behind the garage or something, and the plaything took them through. If you took the bicycle, you went down this path, and this and this and this is what would happen. If you didn't take the bicycle, it would do this and this and this. So really, really cool. And I've got a couple of clients that I'm tutoring that are very techie, and I always say to them, you need to combine the two. You really do. So I mean, just some really cool stuff out there. Okay, so that was that question. Let me go back to did that help? Did that explain those clearly of how we treat that?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so keep going down our list. Social anxiety disorder. It's a social anxiety disorder. Again, longer than 6 months. And that is, I just don't want to, I'm afraid to be out in public. I'm afraid what people will think of me. If I stand up and make a speech, something awful will happen. That's 6 months. OCD and OCPD, what's the difference?
OCD is the diagnosis, and OCPD is the personality disorder.
Got it. Got it. And remember, with personality disorders, I've been that way my entire life.
And
Go ahead.
and then the OCPD is egocentric.
It is. It is. It is. It is. There is one of those. I like to cook. I like the home shopping shows. I just like those. And there's this girl on, I'm sure it was Facebook, and the house is immaculate. And when she's talking about this, she literally says, people think that I'm OCD, and I'm not. I've always been this way. I just like things in order. Red flag. And I wrote on there, no, baby, you are OCPD. See a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay? And because she doesn't think she has a problem. So that's OCPD. It's the personality disorder. I've always been that way. And you are right. Egocentric means it's in sync with my ego. So why would I ever seek treatment? OCPD people come because their spouse is about to kill them. If they do not do something about their craziness, I will kill you. I've had couples that come in, and because the husband, it's a weekend and he's planned this great adventure for them to go out and do something, and they can't leave because she says, I have to clean the house first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She doesn't see it's a problem. She doesn't get it. He is ready to kill her. So you've been that way your entire life. All you want is to be perfect, and you don't understand why anybody else wouldn't want to be perfect like you. What's wrong with you? Perfection is everything. Okay, so that's OCPD. Many of the clients that I tutor are OCPD. I can tell you. If you got a B- on a paper, and you went to the professor's door and you begged for that A, what else will it take to get an A? No, baby, it's a grade. It's a grade. You'll still get a degree. In my house, my kids were taught C's get degrees. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. And graduating with honors, that gets you a better job? I don't think so. I just think they care if you had a degree, right? And look at your transcripts. So I don't really, I don't think that, that I graduated with 4.0. I'm not sure I'm going to pick you over somebody else if you have the same actual life skills. Okay. So OCPD, it's a personality disorder. All personality disorders are ingrained. The symptoms don't fluctuate. I've been that way forever. If I ask you when you were little, your mom would say that you lined up your Barbie dolls by colors. If I came to your house, your shirt, your closet's immaculate, everything's hung up by the size and the color and the blah, blah, blah. Your kitchen cabinets, one of my favorite
Can we
things to do.
teach that? Can we teach that as parents to our children that are children, because they don't know any of this? And you instill that you have to keep your closet clean, you have to straighten out your shoes. So you're engraving these behaviors in them, and then they grow up to it becomes OCD, and then it becomes OCPD as they get older.
So it's either OCD or OCPD. They're not the same. Okay. So OCPD, yes, I could very much have gotten that from my mother, and not necessarily genetically. It's a personality disorder. That is how I grew up. That is how I grew up. This is what I said to a client this week. She is a current client. And she needs accommodations and doesn't want to admit that she needs accommodations. In our conversation this week, and I'm not trying to wear my therapist hat, and we talked about my women especially, you've got to take something off of your plate. When you're studying for this test, I need 90 days of you being the priority. I need 90 days. Your house can be a little dirty. In 90 days, it ain't going to get that bad. I need you to, no gourmet meals. Your kids can eat hot dogs. And I swear they'll be okay. And getting her to let go of some of those things, because all she was add something else onto her plate instead of taking something off. And that's one of the reasons we really process that you that's why she can't, you just can't. But she doesn't see it as a problem. The house just has to be perfect. And in talking to her, realizing there was some childhood trauma and there were some things that she didn't have control over. So OCPD definitely can come from childhood, not necessarily genetic, but feeling like I have to control everything else. I have to be perfect. If I'm perfect, if I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, I'm pretty enough, they'll love me. Okay. But again, you're not coming for treatment. Your wife will leave you. You're like, what is wrong with those people? The OCD people, on the other hand, that's a very different story. OCPD, again, egocentric. Don't think I have a problem. Everybody else thinks I do, but I don't. OCD, I'm going for treatment because the obsessions are the thoughts. They just won't stop. There's a lot of correlation between those thoughts and children growing up in very religious organizations. You must do this. You've got to do that. You must do this. If you don't do this, you'll burn in hell. If you don't do this, you'll burn in hell. So definitely that is a genetic disorder. It is a chemical disorder, but chemical, my serotonin isn't working basically. So the obsessions are the thoughts that won't go away. And the compulsions then are supposed to relieve the thoughts. So the obsessions are, my hands are dirty. My hands are dirty. My hands are dirty. My hands are dirty. That I can't stop thinking about. I know I just washed them 5 minutes ago, but I touched something dirty again. So the compulsion is that I keep washing my hands over and over again because that relieves the compulsions. And my hands are raw and rare. Like you can see, like I have no skin left because I've done it so often. And during COVID, I noticed that a lot. And a lot, it's not normal hand washing. It's bizarre hand washing. What happens is you think if you don't follow your rituals, something awful will happen. If you don't close your door and lock it 7 times, there's usually a number to that, or 12 times. I had a client that always felt that she stank, that no matter what happened, she always felt that she stank. And she, when she was in that vicious cycle, she had to, she'd take a shower the length of 3 songs, and she had 3. It was going to be different songs, but they had to be the same length. Okay. And she could not get out of the shower until there's 3 songs on the playlist until that exact time. Because the obsessions just won't stop. They just won't stop. If I don't follow this routine, something awful will happen. Okay. It gets worse with anxiety. So it gets worse, worse, worse. It usually starts in childhood. This one does too, but this one is ego dystonic. It's not, it's ruining my life. I can't get things done because I can't stop. I think that if I don't make sure that I lock the door, then someone's going to break in my house and they're going to kill my entire family and it'll be my fault. Okay. So this was definitely has a more of a medical genetic piece. Okay. So OCD, OCPD. OCD is awful, uncomfortable. OCD, you don't think you have a problem. So why bother?
That's what the OCPD, you don't think you have a problem, so you're not going to go for therapy, but the OCD will go for therapy.
You sure will. You sure will.
Because of the personality disorder. They don't have a problem.
They do not. They don't. Have you ever had a narcissist come in and say, oh, help me?
No.
because so they just don't. They just don't. Let's stay there for a bit. Let's go back and look at our personality disorders. I teach them several ways. Sometimes I will teach them in clusters. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on the test, I swear. So I've gone back to teaching them in clusters so we understand what belongs into what cluster. And remember, again, you've been this way your entire life. You don't think you have a problem. You're not coming for therapy. We will see borderlines come in, but borderlines don't think they have a problem. They don't understand why people keep leaving them. They don't understand that they're part of that issue. We go back to Margaret Mather with my object relations theory. She's the one that said that I'm borderline and many other disorders because I didn't have attachment to, I didn't have a solid attachment to that one caregiver in my life.
You know what I was watching yesterday and I thought about you? I don't know if I was properly diagnosing, but it felt like I was on point. So it's The Hand That Rocked the Cradle. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Is
So
that one of the ones where they still the nanny skills the baby?
She doesn't steal the baby, but she starts treating the babies the way she was treated as a orphan, and she went to different orphanage. So, and then I said it's the Margaret, right? Not being cared for and being in the same home. And then she was destructive. She was setting fires. She was abusive.
How old was
Killed
the client in
killed
the story?
the client had to be, I think, 21. So,
Okay,
and then
okay.
I mentioned that she had that personality disorder.
Yeah. Oh, my
Right.
baby, you're growing up when you can see it in real life. You know it. You just didn't memorize it. You know it. If you work in a
So,
school system, can you not see that in the kids that behave the way they behave?
yeah. So that was the it's not opposite. It was the not the oppositional defiant. There's one that you said there's
The
the
conduct.
the conduct disorder is what she
Got it.
was.
But no, she's 21. She's antisocial. You see my screens?
So when she was little, she was the conduct disorder, and as an adult now, she's antisocial.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you see am I sharing the personality disorders?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we know then is with Margaret Mather, her theories were if we don't have that same caregiver in our life for the first 3 years of our life, then we definitely have we've never bonded with anybody, so we don't trust the world. So I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. So, and I'll go back and pick up conduct disorders, but what we know is the difference between conduct and ODD, opposition defiant. ODDs will throw a chair. They really will. They're not the sweetest kids at all, but they have remorse. They didn't wake up this morning and think, I'm gonna kill you. They think you got in their way and I'm mad and I'm gonna throw a chair at you. So they're not sweeties, but there's a very big difference. Conduct disorders, 6 to 16, they are manipulative. They are, what we're looking for in the test is a stealing. They will steal something. They will burn the house down. They will have no remorse at all. Now, as an adult at 16, 18, I can diagnose you with an antisocial personality disorder. It's not that you're asocial. Asocial means that you like to stay home. Antisocial those are sociopaths. Okay, no remorse at all. Most of our pedophiles are antisocials. She was 6. It was her. She wanted me. She was being sexy. No ownership of anything that I've done, and no thought that my behavior hurt somebody else. It's just not there. It's not there. So when we have little kids and we teach our little kids, you get a pet and he's playing with the pet too hard. You say, oh, don't do that. That hurts doggy. And most kids learn, right? They learn empathy. They learn we don't do that. The kids that don't learn that, those are big red flags.
Mhm.
They deserved it. They did it. Okay. And then an antisocial, now I'm an adult, same behavior. My serial killers, my Jeffrey Dahmer, and my Ted Bundy. He was the blonde, cute man in Florida. And he was so nice. He was handsome, and he would say, come on over and invite you in the house. And, he would have always, he was one with the, I can't find my cat. Could you please help me find my cat? And the young blondes would get in the van with him and he'd kill them, rape them.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
saying, those are my antisocials. Okay. So whenever somebody says you're so antisocial, say, prove it. Where's the body? That's my
Yeah.
response.
So
I like when you
asocial,
say that.
I'm not,
asocial is when you are social.
asocial no means I don't want to be around people.
You,
But
right,
it's not a
anti.
DSM. It's not a DSM
Okay.
disorder. Okay. Asocial is I'd rather stay home. And that's okay. That doesn't make it a DSM disorder though. Okay. So in my clusters, my cluster A are my odd and eccentric, paranoid, schizoid, schizotypal. My paranoids, none of these hallucinate. Right? They don't hallucinate. They are just worried that everybody's out to get them. My wife is sleeping with the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, but there's no proof to that whatsoever. Somebody snuck into my office and changed my computer program.
Mm.
One of my brothers is a conspiracy theorist, and there's a lot of people on the internet that are very much a part of that, and I am sure some of those things are very true. I don't doubt that. But he bought a house, and we all live in the same city. We're about 5 years apart. We're not like buddy close, but we're siblings. He did not tell us his new address because he was really sure that people were driving by his house and looking for him because they were all very jealous that he bought a house and they're out to get him. And then if we knew, the siblings, if we knew, then we might tell people and they'd be out to get him. Okay, maybe. I don't. I've known him. I'm 60. He's 58. I don't think that he's this major like racketeer that someone's out to get him. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So
Seems like a lot of people in the military have that.
Well, he's
cluster
former
A.
military, so that might. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
you sound like our brothers are brothers from another mother.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Yeah.
maybe from the military, I need to be taught that. Maybe that's part of survival mode of being in there, because people might be. I have no doubt at all that all my appliances that can listen probably are listening. I don't. I have no, right. You can't just say, hey Siri, and it's already listening. I don't doubt that. I just don't think that evil people are out to get me because people are listening. I think they're probably, if they're tracking my spending habits, maybe. I just don't know. Okay. So anyway, that's my paranoid. They're just, people are out to get them, but they don't hallucinate. They've been that way their whole life. Schizoids and schizotypals, again, they've always been that way. They do not hallucinate. I don't become a schizophrenic. I just really stay in that schizoid or schizotypal personality. Schizoids avoid people. They avoid people on purpose, and they like avoiding people. They have no reasons to have anybody in their life whatsoever. Okay. I'll show you the image that I always use. My schizoids, he doesn't even want to fish. Okay. Voluntary desocialization. He wants nothing to do with anybody. He's fine. You all know one. When you were in school, the teacher said, Johnny's sitting at a table by himself. Will you go sit with Johnny, make him feel wonderful? You sat down by Johnny and he growled at you.
Mhm.
Like, okay. Johnny is the boogeyman's house. The wicked witch lives in that house. It's grown up. There's the grass is long. The windows are covered. It looks like nobody's home. He probably has his groceries delivered. He might when he was younger, he probably worked at home if he could, because he doesn't want to be around people at all. He doesn't have a problem with it. Okay, that's the house you don't go sell Girl Scout cookies to. Okay?
Mhm.
He wouldn't hurt you. He just would growl at you. Okay, so I promise you, in every neighborhood growing up, there was always that one house that everybody knew not to go to.
Mhm.
Okay, and we made up stories about it. In this area, the newspaper, probably about a year and a half ago, there was a brothers who had never married, and they'd lived, it was their parents' house, and the two of them had lived together their entire life. And they'd been dead for months. They're like skeletal remains left in the chair. And I think maybe the mailman or someone said something's wrong here. And when the police finally investigated, both of them had died in their recliners.
Oh, how sad.
And nobody knew because they didn't have any friends, they didn't have anybody but each other, and they speculate they probably both died about the same time. Okay, they had to go to school back then. There wasn't a lot of homeschooling. They were in their 70s, so you met them in school. They were just weird. Schizotypals are typically more like a schizophrenic. They will say something to you, but you will be so sorry that they did. They'll ask you bizarre questions. They'll say things. You're like, oh, why did I do this? Why did I say something? I am pretty sure that the person that I bought my house from was schizotypal. It was really back. I bought it in 2022, so this is back when the housing market was quickly, like, you put the house on sale on Thursday, by Sunday it was closed. I mean, it was really that market. He didn't live here. The grass was all grown up, and I was very surprised because there's an HOA, and from the front door you could not see the street. And I was like, what? The two times that I met him is the first walkthrough, and the second time was a closing date. And we were waiting for like the people to come in to sign all the papers and get the keys. And I was trying to make small talk with him, just, how are you? Where are you moving to? And I said, he had a Band-Aid on his arm. And I said, what happened? Everything okay? Something just happened. I'll be fine. Where are you moving to? Up yonder. I'm not going to track you down, right? I'm not going to, I don't care. In the first time when I toured the place, I asked him if the fireplace worked. He said, I don't know. Okay. Apparently there was a wife and a child at one time, but they had long gone. And when I moved in the house, the people thought he had been moved out for like 10 years. And he'd only been moved out for like 2 years. He just didn't see anybody. He just didn't say anything. So very bizarre, very weird.
Very.
So, and I'm a people person, right? All he wanted to know was when he could get his check. The minute he got his check, there was no like shakings, no, he was out. Okay, bizarre dress, just weird. So during the time I was, buying the house, and I thought he was weird, but looking back, I'm thinking, he was schizotypal. He really was. Again, they don't hallucinate, though. You will see this a lot of our homeless people. And sometimes it's drug related when they're crazy, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it really is just a bizarre conversation with them, and not necessarily this says, always keep some toast in your pockets. Just bizarre. Bizarre dress. They're dressed like it's the middle of winter when you live in South Florida. Okay, so schizoids will say nothing, schizotypals will. That's my cluster A. My cluster B are my drama people. Dramatic, unpredictable. Like I said, my antisocials are my killers. Borderlines, we know that, again, they, according to Margaret Mailer, they never bonded with that one person. Whenever you see that question, I've seen the 6th therapist before I've seen you, and you're the very best one.
Oof.
Red flags, red flags, red flags. That you'll see questions about the importance of setting boundaries. Okay, because they will call you 17 times, and when you don't answer Friday night at 5, they're going to report you to the board and stop seeing you because you don't love them anymore. Okay, so we know that DBT is the treatment for that, right? So Marsha Linehan, CBT was first. CBT said change the way that you think, change the way that you feel, therefore the way you behave. DBT is let me change your behaviors first, then your thoughts and your feelings. That's where mindfulness comes from. You know, having the distress tolerance, teaching you just because your boyfriend might break up with you, you don't need to go slash his tires. My histrionics for the test, histrionics for typically girls and narcissists are typically men. My histrionics are drama queens. Okay, you're going out to eat. I wish let me find a picture. You're going to out to the movies with your girlfriends. I say to my women, if you don't know the histrionic in your friend group, it's probably you. She's the one that, you know, paid lots of attention and usually way overdressed. And when you went to the nightclubs, you got in first because she was attention seeking. They're not promiscuous, though. If we talk about being promiscuous, we would think more of our borderlines because they think they're in love with you and they fall hard. My histrionics are very showy. Just this way. You see her? Okay. So my histrionics, so she's got the short skirt on and the high heels. She loves excitement, loves spending the center of attention, inclined to stand out, wears conversation starters, bright colors, ombre hair, long nails. Okay, look at me, look at me. So that's what it looks like. And again, I've been this way my whole life. That might be me sometimes, not gonna lie. Okay, so, but again, they're upset. The question may say she doesn't understand why her boss doesn't want to be her friend on Facebook. Who would not want to be my friend? What's wrong with them? So
That will be the histrionic.
That's the histrionic.
Okay.
It's attention seeking. Okay, but not necessarily sexual. Do you have you I'm going to use this term loosely. I'm not offending anybody. The typical old Jewish grandmother, and you go to the restaurant and she likes nothing on the dish and she's complaining about everything and she keeps sending food back and, oh, all right, look at me, honey, like attention seeking, even at that age. Right. I was watching a video last week, and it was a reveal party. It was her daughter and her son having a reveal party, and they both had the little sticks, and of course one pulled pink and the other pulled blue. Mama, who was outdressed for anybody at the party, she had a black stick, and actually she's the one that got to reveal the gender. It's your daughter's day.
Yeah.
It's your daughter's day, not yours. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So there's still, that's my histrionic. Again, I don't see a problem with it. I don't understand. Okay. And my narcissists, again, in general, are men. My narcissists, remember, they are very much, they actually have very low self-esteem. They don't feel good about themselves, so they make themselves feel better by putting you down. Okay, and you are just accessories to him. So he wants the cute wife, the trophy wife, and he wants the kids to always be dressed gorgeous. But nothing in the world matters except him. When I was married, that's how it worked so long. I loved him and he loved him. It worked out great for him. Right. So very much, it's all about me. Okay. But they do have low self-esteem. That's one of the questions you might see. And then now I've got my anxious fearful cluster, which is C. My avoidant disorders, they avoid people. And again, this is a little bit different than asocial. This is like my whole life, I'll stay away from people. I have a friend that's my avoidant disorders are very much afraid of being ridiculed. They're afraid that someone's going to make fun of them. So I have a friend that won't cruise with me because I'd love to cruise. And yes, I do take that 15 drink a day as a challenge. Okay. I start off with a bacon Manhattan, maybe some Kahlua in my coffee. That's a challenge. Okay. Yeah. I never make it. I keep trying though. Okay. Not in the last couple of years. I've gotten older, but I've been cruising forever. So the heat, when I own the cruise, I love to dance. I'm the best dancer ever. I am the only Black girl with no rhythm. When I dance, and I'm trying to do like any of the dances, in my head, I'm counting 1, 2, left, 1, 2, right, one. I have no rhythm. I have no rhythm. But I love to have fun. I'm on a cruise. I love to have fun. Here's his story. If I dance on a cruise, I'm going to get videotaped. And the videotape is going to go viral. And everybody in the world is going to make fun of me. So therefore, I can't do that. Okay.
So that's what the avoidant personality disorder person will say.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But they love to dance. They just won't do it.
No,
because
not
they're
at all. Exactly.
okay.
Not going to try anything new unless I know I'm good at it.
Go into the bathroom really quick.
Okay, I'm going to get my dog's water. So my cluster C, that's my avoidant. The dependent personality disorder, those are the people that feel like they can't make a decision by themselves. It's the 45-year-old man that has always lived at home, and not because his mom needs him. He just doesn't think that he can survive by himself. And then my OC personality disorder, we know that one. Okay, so they're all egocentric. Remember, there is one clinical disorder that's egocentric, and that is going to be anorexia. My anorexics always also have body dysmorphic disorder, because the way they see their body is out of whack. So, but they're not going to come for treatment. And when you do get them for treatment, the answer is almost always a medical answer, like get them there immediately. So anorexics think that they think they're too fat. They weigh 6 pounds. They think they're too fat. In the question, anorexics are always going to say that they're tiny. Bulimics and binge eaters are normal size. So that'll be a hint in the question. So my bulimics will eat and eat and eat and eat, and then throw it up or exercise it off. So they'll eat all this stuff, and then they'll either throw it up, they'll purge, or they'll go to the gym and run for 6 hours. Okay, but they're medium size. So that's the difference. That's the key on the test, of knowing what they look like. Let's see here. I think I've gone, let's go back. I did, yeah. Delusional disorder, that used to be called my MPD. No. Delusional disorder is delusions without the hallucinations. Delusions are the thoughts, right? The hallucinations, all 5 of my senses can hallucinate. I can smell things, I can taste things, I can see things, I can hear things, and I can feel things. So those are my schizophrenia. Delusional disorder is just the thoughts. The ADHD. So remember, for adults, I had to have the symptoms before I was 12. Okay. I didn't start taking medication until I went back to school to get my PhD. And I really thought that I had a brain tumor, because I'm like, why can't I concentrate? Why can't I get this? Looking back, so most girls have ADD. We have attention deficit. We don't always have the hyperactivity or the impulsive part. That's why we don't get in trouble. The boys have the hyperactivity and they're impulsive. So they're diagnosed very early, first, second grade. Little girls are doodling on their paper, Bobby and Johnny sitting in a tree, KISSING, right? We're off in another world, but we're not going to get in trouble, because overall, people with ADD are auditory processors, and we're smarter than the average Joe because we learn so quickly. So for a kid, what it looks like in a kid, it has to be at least 6 months and before the age of 12. That's for both kids and adults. You have to have the symptoms before the age of 12. Inattentive, hyperactive, impulsive. One of the things, it has to happen in at least 2 settings. Okay. So if the question says, Bobby's teacher says he has a problem, but Bobby's parents say that they don't, most often the answer is to assess, to figure out maybe mom and daddy don't see it, or maybe teacher is wrong, right? Because it has to happen in at least 2 settings. A stimulant is the treatment for that, along with the behavioral approach, right? Rewards and consequences, consistency with behavior.
Mm-hmm.
My spectrum disorder, remember, that is now, we used to call it Asperger's, which was the high end, the functioning level. And the low end is definitely where, you had difficulty with changes. Sometimes on the other end, the end of being nonverbal. Okay. President and all the research she wants to do, but there's no research that says that it's related to vaccines. There's nothing that's proved that yet. We do see an increase. I don't know why. My first thought is it just wasn't always diagnosed. A high-end person with Asperger's may just come up as rude. Okay, so I don't do well with change. I may talk about something and be an expert in that field and not know and not have basic social skills, not know how to say please and thank you. Again, I'm very smart. I had a psychiatrist that I worked with, and he would just call them those funny acting kids. Okay, because their behavior doesn't stand out enough to necessarily be that strange, but it also, there's something just missing a little bit. Okay. So the levels are 1 through 3. So that's how we decide it now. So the same thing with our substance abuse as well. It's medium, mild, medium, mild, moderate, and severe.
So the levels are mild, medium, and severe for
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna pull it up.
autism.
Yeah. Yes. 1 second.
Okay.
So they're not described that way. They're not in the DSM, but that's what we're thinking of. So you won't see that, but you'll see that levels. Let me show you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we took away Asperger's. That was high end. High end. One of the things many times that I recall seeing with that personality or that style is not getting social cues. So I'm talking to you, we're talking, and I walk away and I put my back to you, and then you come around and keep talking to me. That you're not able to read the social cues of what's happening. So my level 1 requires support. My level 2 requires essential support. And my level 3, these are my non-verbal people. Okay. Example, a non-verbal child who engages in hand flapping, becomes distressed with loud sounds or unexpected changes requiring constant one-on-one support. Okay. My level 1. So again, this is the what used to be called Asperger's. These are ones, and I said before, they many times don't get the social cues. Difficulty initiating and maintaining a typical social interaction, may speak in full sentences, but rigid with back and forth conversation, often described as awkward or rigid. One of the things that I see so often is routine. We just have to do the same thing every day. Okay. And this is not a huge red flag, but you have to have your meals are very structured. You might eat 3 or 4 things and then eat them all day, every day. I have chicken for breakfast, chicken for lunch, chicken at night, and no rationale, not like I'm on a diet or anything like that. That's just what I eat. Okay. And they don't like change. That spontaneity of saying, hey, let's go do something here is like, oh, what? Okay.
So change will be kind of like crisis for them?
Not at this level. At level 3 would freak out and have a full-blown tantrum in the floor. This one, they just wouldn't want to go. So you made plans to go out to Chili's, and it's Friday night, and you get there and they're packed, and you say, let's go to Applebee's, and they would just say, no, let's go home. Okay. A full level, like, that's, you'd see having a tantrum on the floor.
Oh.
Okay. So that's again, used to called Asperger. So these are my high end, require some support, need reminders or structure to function smoothly in school, work, or social settings. Okay.
Okay.
You learning something?
Yes.
For sure.
This is good stuff. This is good stuff, Dr. Pem.
Thank you so much.
Whether you're in the place to diagnose or not, the understanding is that you know what to look for.
That's crucial.
And you learned this. You really remember you had a whole class on the DSM. Abnormal, what's it called? That abnormal psychology. It's what
yes, abnormal psychology.
Yep. And don't you remember diagnosing yourself with everything when you were learning it?
Yes.
Oh, I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
and then learn that, okay, having some characteristics, that doesn't mean that we have the
absolutely. And doctor, don't try to cure yourself. If you think you have someone, go see somebody, not the mirror.
Yes.
My adult ADD, I'd kind of thought it before, because when my youngest brother is 3 years younger than I am, five. We're all 5 years. And when he was little, he had to go sit in the car. Back then, no one took your kids. So if we would go to the Kmart, and he'd be swinging on the clothes things and all of these things. And my dad would make him go sit in the car. So, and then my son, I noticed the same behavior in my son as he got older. Thinking the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. So, even as a teaching college, I've been doing this for like 15 years. My students, I've told them, don't send me a long email. I'm going to say the first line and the last line, and that's it. That's it. Everything else is gobbledygook. I don't have the patience for it. I'm better with medication, but and that I just, I can't.
Too
I just
much.
can't. I just can't.
Too
I'm
much.
not, yes. So yes, my doctor, my counselors always told me to keep a journal. And in the beginning, I know she thought I was crazy because I said I can't. I can't. I cannot sit at the end of the day and journal. I can't. I can, however, use my voice recorder and record during the day. I sure can. I can do that. No problem. But I can't sit and journal. I just can't. You don't outgrow it. You learn to live with it. People who are adult ADHD are usually in very high paced jobs. We like attention. We like change. We like, and that's probably why I like what I do, because the longest you're with me is about 15 weeks. Right. This ain't no long-term relationship. I ain't got time for that. Right. I get a new client coming in and then I get to go you and somebody else comes in. And yeah,
Yeah.
that works for me. That works well for me. It really does. Okay. So ODD, I mentioned ODD, no aggression or violation of the law. Conduct does. It's a precursor to antisocial, but not always. I can treat it, and every kid does not have to end up with antisocial. Intermittent explosive disorder, we can diagnose that as young as 6, but what that looks like is like road rage. My behavior is much more bizarre. It doesn't deserve how I acted. Okay, so it's they're out of proportion to the trigger. So these are ones that are, again, you pulled in front of me and I want to chase you home and beat you up because you pulled out in front of me. So intermittent explosive disorder, it is at least 6. There's very specific, let me give you this one, very specific for how we treat it, or the diagnosis on that one. We have in the past used this to explain domestic violence. It's not true. It's not true. We have sent people with domestic violence to anger management classes. Anger management classes are for people that have road rage, for people that beat up innocent people for no reason. Domestic violence is a purposeful way to make you feel less than, because I feel better about myself. It's not about anger I can't control. If it's about anger, I'd beat up the boss. I'd beat up everybody. But if it's just my children or my wife, that is not intermittent explosive. You do not need anger management. You need self-esteem issues. Okay. So again, at least 6 occurrence has to be twice weekly for 3 months. 3 serious outbursts within 12 months. Impulsive, aggressive outbursts out of proportion to trigger. Relief afterwards, and they do feel remorseful. Remember, my conduct disorders and my antisocials do not. But physical or verbal aggression toward people, animals, or property, not due to anything else. So it's not conduct, it's not antisocial, there's nothing else going on. Adults or adolescents with repeated snapping episodes, often followed by guilt. Okay. We many times use CBT, and again, our SSRIs, those would be, an SSRI would be my Prozac, my Zoloft, and a mood stabilizer would be like a lithium. Okay. Okay, so let's see what else. Substance abuse disorder. We used to have, with substance abuse disorder, we used to have use, misuse, and misuse, and addiction. Use, misuse, and I don't remember. Use, misuse, and abuse. I think that's what it's called. Use, misuse, and abuse. We don't have that anymore. We have mild, moderate, or severe. Okay. So with our substance abuse disorder, and again, it can be any of those ones. It can be, you know, cocaine. It can be a it doesn't have to necessarily be alcohol. It could be any of the substances. I can have a use disorder. And remember, with any disorder, if it doesn't affect my daily living, if I get up and I go to work and I still do whatever I'm supposed to do, that's not a DSM diagnosis, right? If it's a DSM
Right.
diagnosis, if it becomes a problem, if I can't function, that's when it's a problem.
That's when they call people like the functional alcoholic or something like that, right?
Not
there's no-
usually. So that's going to be a misuse. That's going to be a misuse. Okay. Yeah, that's still a misuse. If I I'll give you what I'm looking for is someone with use disorder. Means it's harming me, whether the doctor said, you know, you've got your liver's not functioning or things like that. So my use disorder is not that great. That is my impairment control. These are the levels. So impairment control 1 through 4. If I have 5 to 7 of these, I have 8 to 9 of these, that's where it becomes mild, moderate, or severe. Okay. So if I have 2 or 3 of these levels, right? If I have a persistent desire, unsuccessful attempt to cut down, if I have important activities given up or reduced, if I have continued use despite social interpersonal problems, that's still going to be a mild disorder. It's a substance abuse mild. Okay. That moderate is when I have many, I now have 4 to 5 of those. And then, of course, 6 or more becomes a severity. So it's mild, moderate, or severe. When we look at treating this, remember, we're looking at the trans theoretical model, the stages of change, pre-contemplation, contemplation. And remember, MI comes from that. MI is when someone comes in, motivational interviewing, that comes in when someone who really thinks that I don't have a problem, don't know what you're talking about, and I'm ambivalent. That's a key term, that I'm ambivalent. So our goal is to help them understand the problem and their need to realize they have a need to want to change. Medical assisted treatment. Remember, DTs, the delirium tremors, that is withdrawal from alcohol. That's the only time that you have to really make sure I get medical treatment. You can withdraw from opioids on your own. It's like a nasty flu and you'll wish you were dead. It happens in jail a lot. The people put you in jail and you just go cold turkey. It happens. For the test, we're humans and we usually want to call somebody or get them some medical treatment, but you will not die. Delirium tremens, the stop using alcohol, my client will die. It's not a 911 call, but it's making it very clear you cannot withdraw from alcohol by yourself. That's the DTs. Okay. We know
they can die by the, I'm sorry, they can die or they don't.
They will die.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one, they will die. Opioids will not. Withdrawal from, you know, I've been on you know, what is it? Fentanyl, that's what we're using now, our newest one. Yeah. So that's an opioid, right? So yes, I will. Heroin use, yes, I will. I'm sorry, I will not die from those. I can do cold turkey by myself. I won't die. As a social worker or a therapist, we usually call in. But if the question says, is it lethal? No, it's not. Withdrawal from alcohol is. Okay. You might see questions about the symptoms of what it looks like, whether I'm high or whether I'm withdrawing. Okay. I'll send you guys a list of what that looks like, of knowing the medications and what when they're using and when it withdrawing. So if I'm smoking marijuana, I'm not going to rob a bank. I was going to go to work, but I got high. I'm not, right? I'm just not.
So there will be a downer, right?
It's
marijuana.
I don't think it's in either category, actually. I don't think it's considered a downer. I'll look. I don't think so. Alcohol
Okay.
is a downer. Alcohol is a depressant because, you know, you had your first couple and it feels good, but after at the end of the night, I don't go home with anybody crying in my beer. Okay. So that one definitely is.
Okay.
Meth, which is a stimulant. Okay. I feel great during that. So that is a stimulant. And the question may say, so now that I'm coming down, I'm moody, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't want anything to do with you. Opioids is the only true addiction. People say, most research says that no matter who you are, you would get addicted to opioids after about 5 days of constant use. Marijuana is considered a psychological addiction. There's not a physical addiction to that. It's psychological. Does that make sense? That it's in my head.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like,
It's
okay.
in my head. It's in my head.
So that's how the works in the receptors, how that
No,
works in
no,
the
no, 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 no. It's not. It's just my body is used to it. It's not a physical. So no, it's not affecting my receptors. It is a psychological. I think that I need it.
Oh, okay, just on my head.
Got it. Got it. Okay, I
Okay.
think I got most of those. Illness, anxiety disorder used to be hypochondriacs. That's what that used to be. Okay, so I worry about everything. I have a little bitty thing on my finger, and I'm really sure that it's cancer and I'm going to die. The conversion disorder is it is when there's trauma related, and now part of my body won't work. So I have seen, if you know the Maya Angelou, her book, I Know What the Cage Bird Sings. It's about her life story. And she says that when she was about 13 or 14, that she was raped by a man in the neighborhood, and she went home and she told her family members, and they killed him. And she said that she felt her voice killed somebody, and she didn't talk for about 6 months. So the doctors have done lots of work. There's nothing neurologically wrong, but it'll say something about a trauma. My dad died, and I am suffering. And whenever I put on his coat, my left arm goes numb. So part of my body won't work, but I'm not questioning. I'm looking for trauma related. Okay. I didn't put on here the what is it? Factitious and what's the other one? Malingering. Do you know those? The difference between those two?
Malingering is like faking, not to get a benefit.
Got it. And malingering is it's clearly obvious I'm getting something out of it. Okay.
And fictitious is, oh gosh.
So fictitious is going to have those malingering has the primary and secondary gains. No, factitious has primary and secondary. No, malingering does. Malingering, the primary gain I can't see. It's unconscious. There's something going on in the unconscious that I don't know why. That's used to be like Munchausen by proxy, the mothers who are making their kids sick to get attention. So that primary gain we can't see. We don't know why she's doing that. The secondary gain is when now the doctors think she's a great mom. Okay, so that's primary and secondary gain. Okay, I got to wrap you guys up. I will definitely send some questions related to this. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Pam.
Learn something, really just kind of, again, you don't have to be an expert diagnostician. You'll see the ADD, you'll see the bipolar 1, bipolar 2. I didn't put on here in copresis and in uresis. Poop on yourself is diagnosed at 4. Peeing on yourself is diagnosed at 5. Okay. Poop because you have to push it out in copresis.
Yeah. And yeah, that's funny.
It's what I'm just saying. Okay. Okay, dokie,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
Dr.
good
Pender.
night.
Awesome. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.